So,
I know,
Diego.
there's the green eyes, right? It is.
So, Diego, I know that you base your content mostly on girls and how to attract them. So, I have a little question for you. How's your relationship with your mom?
It's funny because I've had a few years on social media now, and millions and millions and millions, in fact, billions of views later. And I really don't talk about my family a lot. It's actually the one thing I go on podcasts and say to people, I don't talk about my family. However, I think it's quite an important substance as to who we are as people and a big formula in the journey of life. Especially as you said, my content is based a lot around girls and talking to girls. So many people would think, oh, maybe he... I mean, a lot of people think the way I talk to girls is quite disrespectful. I think the reason being is because it's not normal for guys to approach girls anymore. It's like to approach girls, you're somewhat an amazing and excellent man. But all my life has been pretty normal communicating with people in general. I'd say I have an amazing balance between my parents. And the reasons I'm super happy to have the mum and dad I have is because my mum's an incredibly kind soul. Like an incredibly kind soul. Man, I get so emotional when I talk about my mum all the time because she's the most innocent and beautiful person in the world. And I think it's important that every man has that like inside. Like as a core value. The problem is as a man, if you express that on a day-to-day basis, like being completely... I'll tell you why. My mum's very vulnerable. She'll give, like, and not care how she gets treated, how people perceive the kindness. As a man, you can't do that because you end up becoming used. And it's different with my mum because she's got her life, so she's got her family, she's got her income and her health and everything. So I've learned massively and hugely from her that at the foundation of everything you do as a human needs to be purity, needs to be like love and wholesome and niceness and always thinking about other people and putting other people first. And that's what I base my core foundation of. You wouldn't see it if you don't want to, because I'm a big believer in as humans, if you want to see something, you have to want to see it. As opposed to, if you want to call me a type of word, a dickhead, Diego's this, if you convince yourself to see me that way, you'll see me that way. My dad's a slightly different figure. I'd say he's more harder on the outside, a more traditional man, not so much emotion, not so much, like, it was very hard to get wow, Diego, you did really well from my dad as a kid. But I had that from my mom, so I think it was a really good balance. And I think that's built what I'd say is an amazing chemical reactional formula for me as a human to be extremely kind and wholehearted in everything I pursue, but also know the values of how to act as a man, to protect myself, to protect the people around me, to protect my emotions, and to act and provide and protect as a man. So that kind of went on a tangent and slightly answered your question, but my relationship with my mother is amazing. She's like the most important person in my life. I miss her every time I'm not with her. I love her exceptionally. I do everything for her and with her in the forefront of my mind, even though I might not like seem it straight away.
No, I appreciate your answer, and I feel like it's really honest and transparent. At the end of the day, we always see something on the screen, but we don't really know who that person is within. And I wanted to ask you something based on your answer. So you mentioned that your mom is really vulnerable and that you as a man, you don't like feeling the weak side, as society calls it, right? So my question is, don't you think that when men actually show their weak side, their vulnerable side, shows that they're stronger?
Not at all. I think as a man who shows his vulnerable side, he loses respect off of, I mean, let's take it from a relationship example, like off of girls. I think it takes a very intellectually intelligent woman, maybe not even. I think generally, women in general, from a woman with maybe less intellectuality and an incredibly intelligent woman, I think they lose respect for guys who show vulnerable sides. There's moments where you can show vulnerable sides, like close ones dying around you, crazy tragedies. But even then, I'd argue as a man, there's nothing sexier than a man that can keep his shit together. Now, I can say that to you, and I'm sure you'll find different shit sexy in a man, but I can guarantee you in general population society, girls lack respect for men that show vulnerability, and we're in a horrible place where girls will actually tell guys like, be emotional, like cry on my shoulder. And the second they actually go to cry on your shoulder, and you see how it feels to have a grown fucking man on your shoulder as opposed to yours on his, you're like, oh no, something wrong here. Because as females you have so many options, it then becomes almost a case of, that's not okay, bye. But even if you don't, even if you stick by him, I'd say definitely you lose respect, because emotional control is a man who's able to act the correct way, no matter what the situation is, I think is an extremely valuable and appreciated man.
Okay, I understand your point of view. You said that certain moments you're allowed to be vulnerable in front of girls.
No, in front of girls, never.
I mean, because if you want to show
once
your...
in a blue moon.
So let me finish my question, and then you can give me your answer.
Okay. Do I have your? Is that with your permission? Thank you. It's much appreciated.
Okay, so
when I say once in a while, I mean once in a blue moon, by the way.
I'm going to base my question on what you said about certain moments, and then you said, like, let's say a close one dying, right? Then you show your soft side. Then how would you handle an argument with a girl?
I'll be completely honest with you. Even a close one dying. Now, this may sound like a real lack of empathy. And if it sounds like that, like to some people, that's fine. I said people will hear what they want to hear regardless. I'm an emotional human being. Me, especially as a man, I think I'm actually probably more emotional than certain men. I've just learned the art and the craft to handle my emotions much better than a lot of people. I'd say I was a very troublesome child in the way that I was very reactive to things. I was super angry, very easy to fight, and then like after the fight, be really upset, and quite an impulsive person. So it's been a huge journey for me of like self-development to control that emotion and be in control of my emotion. I'd say, let's put an example of a funeral, right? If you're at a funeral, it's my mother, the kid's grandma, my brothers and sisters' mum as well.
Okay.
As the man in the situation, if I break down, everyone's gonna break down 10 times more. And as a man, I really feel like your responsibility is to hold everything together. Now, a woman has a huge role in holding stuff together as well. It's just a slightly more silent role in this specific situation. Now, I'm a huge believer of dynamics in a relationship and importance in both parties in a relationship. Again, something people might be surprised about. I think a woman's role in a relationship is absolutely massive. For a man of like my value, I'd appreciate a woman to do everything in her power to allow me the best chance to provide for her and my beautiful family. Mm-hmm. Whether that means I'm in the spotlight or whether that means I'm working a shitty job, I'm busting my balls, it's all for the same reason that I can provide for that situation. To answer your question and to pan it back around, I'd say that as a man, your vulnerability, your emotion for the passing of your family or a tragedy that you want to be vulnerable about, it's much better done behind closed doors, because as a mature man, you know how to deal with your emotions yourself, and you can deal with that yourself. Okay. And yes, it is a problem, and we can divert it to the mannerism and the amount of psychological issues that men are going through these days. I don't like using the D word. I hate the D word because it's just like this word that's played on, and now everyone's kind of using it as a throw around word, and it's not the case, right? Someone will wake up, have a bad day, and be like, oh, I'm deep. You know, the word, I can't say it, it's horrible. But the truth of the matter is, when you understand that everything's going to be okay, mm-hmm. and you're allowed to feel shit, that actually takes you out of that phase, rather than being like, oh, I have to feel, like, I feel terrible, shit. I'm in a state of psychological deprivation, which is a word I definitely just made up, and something's massively wrong. The truth of it is, things are allowed to be wrong. You just have to get the fuck on with it eventually.
Okay. So again, I'm just basing all my questions on your answers. Mm-hmm. So you have a better idea and you understand your own answers. You said that we are in charge of how we envision the world. You are in charge of picturing what you truly want, right? So based on what you have told me in front of this camera, you're saying that the society that you know in your mind, the one that you created in your mind, sees vulnerable and weak man as something bad. So maybe, do you think you haven't seen the good side of society that believes that man can actually be strong by showing the weak side?
Yeah, I think there's a difference between a good side of society and a side of society that exists in like the 1%. there's a difference between like what we can see, like the light we can see in reality. I'm a huge believer of being the light in a dark situation. It's why I love living in England. I mean, you live in New Jersey, it's probably a similar atmosphere, city, like people are super moody, angry, and you know, it's not great. But I love being in London for that aspect because a lot of the time you can make people see life in a different way, and even if it's me smiling at the moody old guy that lives next door to me and maybe has a positive effect, and he's reading a paper and he sees a joke and he laughs at it because of the knock-on effect that I had on my smile. I don't know, some stupidness. I think that's super important. But yeah, there's a difference in reality and the good side of society. I think the good side of society is definitely becoming smaller. But there's also the real side of society, and that's why my business is called The Truth, because a lot of people hide from the truth, and a lot of people have this kind of facaded reality in their head, which is like what you're saying, like girls like a man who can be vulnerable and emotional. That's fine,
It depends.
and I even
It also
understand.
depends.
Of
Yeah.
course it does, and of course, if you told me that you like that, I wouldn't tell you were wrong. I am nobody to tell you what you like and prefer.
At the end, it depends also, like, whatever you need to improve on yourself, and whatever deep work you have done within yourself, that's the person that you're going to attract. Let's say that you're projecting this strong man. You might be able to attract a woman that wants a strong man.
I think everyone wants a strong man. I think everyone wants a strong man, and I think,
In a sense,
and I
yeah.
think, and I say this in the most
But that
respectful
can have
way
a lot
ever.
of answers, like, a strong in what way? You know.
So I say this in the most respectful way ever. I think only damaged girls want weak men, and it's not necessarily
Why
one's
do you
fault
say
that you're
that?
damaged.
How come?
Because society functions and has always functioned in a way where strong men are the most attractive, strong men are the richest, strong men are the most desirable.
But
men
also
that,
the most.
men that can run and protect a family, also the most what?
They're also the most controlling ones and obsessive ones. They don't give their woman freedom.
Do you get freedom in a relationship?
You should be free in a relationship.
I think
It's
part
two
of having
free
a relationship
souls
is-
that just connect together to live a journey.
Okay, so I analyze it this way.
Have you ever been in love?
Analyze it this way.
Have you ever been
Yeah,
in
I've been
love?
in love. Analyze it this way, and I'll tell you why. You want to go to the gym, you want to work out, you want to get fit, like proper fit. That's what you want. Are you going to have to sacrifice certain things?
Of course.
Shit tons of things. You're going to have to
But
sacrifice.
it doesn't mean it's,
You're going to have to
not going
sacrifice.
to enjoy it.
You're going to have to sacrifice alcohol. You're going to have to sacrifice shitty food. You're going to have to sacrifice hours with family, hours with friends. You have to sacrifice a lot just for that one goal. It's going to mean you're not going to enjoy it. Of course it is. We all every single human likes eating shit food. It's just not great for us. And people seem to think, especially, and I'm sorry to stereotype because I'm saying this openly and not because you just said it, especially Latinas, have this facade in their head where you can be in a relationship and have the same amount of freedom within that relationship as you would as a single woman. That's not how the world works. Being in a relationship is devoting a lot of your attention
going
and
to
love
call you off.
to a certain amount.
I'm going to call
you
you
don't get
off.
to cut me off. You can call me out after, but you certainly don't get to cut me off because I'm a man and I'm controlling and I'm what was
That's
the other
what
word?
I'm talking
What was the
about.
other word you used?
That's what I'm talking
But
about.
I admit it, and I tell you why I'm controlling because I like to protect everyone around me, and
You
I have a
don't
severe.
listen.
Of course, I listen. I listen to every word you
don't
say. It
listen.
doesn't mean you're right.
I'm not saying I'm right.
Just 'cause I don't agree doesn't mean I don't listen.
So I'm wondering how you're going to be in a relationship in the middle of an argument if you're not able to listen to how the other person feels.
Of course, I would listen to how the other person feels. It's
You're
part
not
of my
even
job, isn't it?
listening to myself that I'm just asking you questions. So imagine when you're truly in love with a girl that your heart is beating fast.
Did you
while
not
you're
say
talking.
that in a relationship you should like feel a sense of freedom?
Exactly.
That I heard it. I was replying to that
So
statement.
I'm going back to the point that you mentioned on one of your answers that you said. That's how you see it. That's how you created the picture in your mind. Because freedom has a lot of meanings. Maybe you've met the wrong Latinas that's the freedom that they want. When I say that men can be controlling and obsessive, it's even on the minimal things that that women do on the daily basis.
You have 100% reason. Like if a man has an experience with one person
Because
and
I'm
bases
one
their
of
argument on
those,
that.
so-
No, you have a completely and utterly fair response. If I was a man that had experienced one Latina, I'm a man of mass experience. I've experienced a lot of stuff in my life, like an array of crazy shit. One of the things is a lot of experiences with a lot of Latinas. I also stereotype, and the reason I stereotype is because I'm not one for arguing about 99% of the things. I'm not going to sit here and say 99% of Latinas. No, most Latinas that I've encountered, and I'm not looking for the wrong Latinas, I look for very healthy girls. Healthy Latina in the same argument is very
What's
hard to come
healthy
by.
for you?
Healthy? Someone who would devote their love and attention to a man, someone who would work super hard to give her man the best care and affection that he could possibly get to strive and help provide for her and her family. I'm also a man that believes in a man providing and protecting. Not all women like that. That's fine. I think all women deep down like that. Maybe certain damaged girls don't. And that doesn't mean a woman stays at home and washes my feet when I come in the house. That's not what the situation is. We're not doing like extremes. It's just like more realistic. And going back to your further point, freedom is cut off a bit within a relationship. Like,
I don't agree.
You don't need to be going to situations. So nothing changed when you're in a relationship.
What is freedom to you? What is freedom?
What is freedom to you?
I'm asking you first.
Freedom to me is what I do now is suitable in a relationship. What I do, the way I live my life now is suitable in a relationship. But that's because I don't party. I don't go out to clubs and shake my ass. I don't go out to clubs and put myself in a situation where men can potentially harm me. Because that's the harsh reality of the world. There are a lot of men that are extremely dangerous. And another thing you women seem to hate us doing is saying, listen, I don't want you to go to the club. Why? You don't trust me? It's nothing to do with you. I know what men are like firsthand. And that's why I don't want you to go to the club. Even if, there's a 1% chance of something happening, I don't want to put you in that 1% chance because I fucking love you. Yeah? And you can see it as controlling. But once again, I'm sure there is something in your life. Let's take your room, for example. You're a tidy person. I'm an extremely tidy person.
I am.
You're tidy. You control your room.
I
Don't try and
to.
manipulate it. You control your room.
Yeah.
Because you like your space, you respect your space, and you like your room. I'm not comparing women to a room.
I was going to say.
I'm not comparing women to a room. But in an essence, it's still something you care about. So you respect. So you like to keep tidy. You like to keep in its place. And take dogs. Dogs are a best example. Wow, now I'm comparing women to dogs. Crazy, but take dogs for a best example.
This answer is amazing to see how easily men just treat us as an object.
Not at all. I think it was the best comparison.
So what if I did the same thing to you?
Go for it.
And I compare you to a room or a dog.
So how would you control me like a room?
The same sample that you gave me. Let's say that your friend has a bachelor party. And I know what goes down during those parties. I know the type of girls that go, and I know the type of shows that happen there.
Luckily, you've got yourself a man that doesn't drink, that doesn't party, that doesn't smoke, and that doesn't do strip clubs. So you're all good.
If I was the girl that was going to go to the club for my girl's party, and I don't party, I don't drink, and I don't do anything.
So you wouldn't want to go anyway?
Why, just as a bedroom, why do you want to keep me there?
Okay, can I ask you a question? Are you and I the same?
If you trust me.
Are you and I the same?
No, we're not.
Who is society safer for?
Safety.
Safer for?
Safer for?
Yeah, men or women?
Everyone. They create their own
Who is
world.
society safer for, men or women?
Both.
Who is society... See, you're not manipulating and lying for the sake of your argument.
Both.
Which is fine. So, put us in a club scenario.
We're both capable of doing the same things.
Of course we're not. I'm stronger than you. I'm more physically capable than you. As an average man to an average woman.
If we're talking about physical traits and strength, yes.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
in other things, when
And
it comes to feeling and the heart, we have the same thing. That's what it takes to assault people.
That's what it takes to assault people. If you look at cases of people getting spiked, people getting drugged, who's getting drugged? Who's getting spiked? Who are the horny animals in the world, men or women?
You are bringing the conversation.
Who's the horny animals in the world, men or women?
We're talking about freedom here.
Yes, exactly.
And about
exactly.
examples.
Exactly. And what do they do if they want to preserve a species of wildlife in the animal kingdom? What do? They bring it to a zoo. They put it in enclosure. I'm not saying this is right, but they put it into the zoo. They preserve it because it's going to be safe there. Right now, as much as you guys don't like being preserved in certain situations, a lot of it is for your own safety and for your own good because we love you. I'm not saying that it's always going to be the best situation for you. I'm not saying you're going to love it all the time. I'm not saying you're going to sit there and watch your girls post on Instagram and go, fuck, I wish I was there. I'm probably going to see fucking Mia Khalifa online and think, wow, I wish I was there. But I'm not. I'm with you because I love you. Right? So there's certain things as partners we have to sacrifice in a relationship. As a woman, I feel like you'd have to sacrifice more in terms of, especially in terms of the clubbing scene and the going out scene, because your safety is more at risk than mine.
I understand that side.
And as a woman, as I say, right? Now you can call it comparing you to objects or whatever. I'm not. I'm just giving quite simple definitions because even if I don't objectify you, 90% of the men will. On the street. Mm-hmm. I don't objectify you. You're my wife. I love you. I love everything about you. I cherish you. I worship you. I spend 15 hours a day working so you can eat the best food and buy the best clothes and bring up and give our beautiful kids the best opportunities. And you're complaining about going out to a stupid night out because I know the second you get there, you're in a situation where I can't confirm you're safe. And also, you're a situation around a ton of horrible men that are capable of doing horrible things to you under the influence of alcohol, of drugs. You're beautiful as well. You step into a club, 100 guys look at you the second you walk in there, and they see you as this headless, like, object. You are. What happens when you leave an expensive car? Let's take a car, for example. You leave an expensive car on the road. What happens? People come and sit in it and take their photo.
Depends where you bring it.
And while they're sitting it and taking their photo, depends where you put it, right? Depends where you park it. Mm-hmm. Where would you want to park an expensive car?
Somewhere safe.
Somewhere safe, like at home?
A home, a parking lot.
A parking lot with protected security, like indoors?
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't think you realize what you just did, but thank you.
I know what you're doing. I know.
Thank you so much.
I answered your question, but
no, thank you so much. Thank you for your honesty.
Just by giving the example of a car to a woman again is so different.
100%, because guys will objectify you. You're my wife. I'm not objectifying you. I put a goddamn diamond on your ringer. On your ringer? On your finger. A diamond. I put a goddamn diamond on your ring. I'm not objectifying you. The ring's an object. That shit was like 100 bags.
Okay, I understand your point. I'll give it to you. Okay, I understand that.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's because
Dobby's in chat.
every generation changes throughout time, but
yeah, it does. And guys are more desperate and horny than ever. That's the danger of it.
Because of social media.
No, because you girls are so hot to get.
Everyone. Look at everyone.
Yeah, look at everyone consumed.
Look at everyone. Not the rest.
Yeah. We're wrapping up soon, don't worry. I got you, bro. It's quite
I understand that point. So I'll give it to you because at the end of the day, I still believe the opposite. But we can agree to disagree. That works.
No, you said you agree with me, so we can agree to agree. That's good.
I agree to disagree.
No, but you said I was right.
I agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think about... Let's say that, okay, I'm your wife, right? You provide everything for me. But let's say that I'm studying nutrition and I want to be a Pilates instructor, right? And that requires a lot of my time.
Yeah, you're not wearing leggings. You can go in tracky bottoms. That's it.
What?
As long as it's like women-only classes, you're all good. Women only and gay men classes.
Okay, I was gonna say, what about gay men?
Nah, I'm joking.
And what about regular
I don't
men?
trust gay men. I do not trust gay men as far as I can throw them. Them guys get more women than I do.
But wait, let me finish my question. So, how would you feel, or what would you do? How would you act if me as your wife, I'm working 30 to 40 hours a week?
I put it this way. I have the utmost respect. I surprise a lot of people with my answers because a lot of people would think as such a masculine man, it's like, my woman work? No fucking way. Man, who am I to tell you like what to work? There's two things. If you're already married to me and you want to take on this project further, it's a different conversation. If we have kids, if I'm working already 40 hours, well, I work way more than that, like 60 hours a week, and we have kids, and I'm like, babe, this has been our dynamic. This is what we like signed into when we were married. Yeah. Maybe we can negotiate, but in this negotiation, I'm the leader of this relationship. By marrying me, you had already understood that. Mm-hmm. Because I keep the family safe and I put food on the table, right? That's not saying you don't provide your fair amount. If this is at the start of the relationship and I'm meeting you doing my thing and I'm meeting you as a 40-hour-a-week Pilates instructor, first of all, I have the utmost respect for any woman who works hard. Because it's very easy, especially as a beautiful woman, which you would be if I was getting involved with you, it's very easy to take life on the easy mode. Especially as a...
What do you mean, easy mode?
I mean, I see rich guys taking like ugly girls on private jets now, so as a good-looking girl, you'd be living on a yacht in Miami as much as you want.
The thing about those girls is that when you don't have values, standards, or priorities, you're just going to...
Correct, they won't be happy.
For the material life.
They won't be happy. Eventually they'll realize when they're 30 and their tits drop and they get saggy, they'll realize when they get left there and they have nothing in their bank account. 100%, you're right. They could probably find a way, sell some more feet pics or start like a grandma or OnlyFans. I don't know. They'll find a way. Women will always find a way. And this is why you don't realize the pressure on men. We have to like go to war every day to survive. Women will always be able to find a way. But anyway, the answer is, if I meet you and you're doing it, first of all, I have no leg to stand on to tell you to stop doing it. If it's a conversation we have and a mutual agreement we decide, very different. But if we're both arguing from a standpoint of, no, I want to carry on doing this, and I'm saying, well, if that's not possible, someone needs to be doing this. I need someone sorting out my house because I'm out of the house 60 hours a week working. I need someone to look after my, like, I'm not just hiring a cleaner so you can go and get your nails painted and do shit, man. You can help contribute to my life.
And you're seeing girls as mates. That's what I
No,
hear
I'm
from
seeing
this
as a
answer.
woman, I'm seeing my woman as someone who can't provide what I can provide in the value that I do. So she needs to provide value in a different way, which would be caring and nurturing me as a husband so I can do my job as best as possible to provide.
But
Because
caring
when I come
about
home-
you as a husband and nurturing you as a husband doesn't mean that we need to be at home all the time.
Not all the time, but for me,
If
you'd
I'm
be at home a lot of the
if
time.
I'm also bringing, let's say, if we're talking about money and material things, if I'm bringing those things to the table, who are you to tell me that I can't do my own things?
Nobody. And this is what point I'm coming on to. If you were working 40 hours a week, non-negotiable, I probably wouldn't get into to a relationship. Now, this is going to come back to bite me in an ass because I'm going to end up marrying a fucking gym influencer or some shit. And she's working like 60 hours a week. So I'm sure this will get clipped up and sent back to me in 20 years when I'm married with 2 kids and I'm the stay-at-home dad, which would never happen. But no, you're completely right. And you have the right to demand certain things in the attribute. But I don't want a woman that wants to demand them things. It's not that I'm scared of a woman with power. I have a huge respect for you. I told you already. I would look at you like amazingly, so much more amazingly. However, a relationship for me is all about balance and all about a balance of masculinity and femininity. And for me, a lot of being a masculine man is providing and taking care of stuff like bills for houses. And so if you're doing that, fine, but I'm just not your man for you. You probably find a man that's slightly less dominant and slightly less like aspirational. And you have an amazing relationship. Some man will appreciate the fuck out of that. I will. It just won't be suitable in my life. But that's as well, like, that's my problem. It's not your problem. You're getting your bag. You're doing your shit. See, I'm a man that talks a lot about my opinion, but I'm also very understanding of how the world works. I'm not ignorant.
That's good.
I told you, I'd have huge respect for you.
That's good.
Yeah?
I mean, right now I don't have anything else. So.
That's not the first time I've left a woman speechless.